Hey, you fans, welcome to the Big Blue Box Podcast. My name's Gary.
My name is Adam.
And we're at episode 159.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension?
Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser men to light the flame.
I'm the Doctor. This is Rose Tyler. She's my +1. Is that all right?
That would be me.
Hello. Surprise. Boom.
Etc.
I'm the Doctor. Do everything I tell you, don't ask stupid questions, and don't wander off.
How can you kid this? I don't like the colour.
Howdy do, Who fans. Welcome to 159. Hope you've all had a cracking week. And that you've managed to do something Doctor Who related.
Yeah.
It's felt like a long week. I don't know about
it.
You.
It has actually. Yes, it has felt like a long week, yeah.
You know, some weeks are just like that. It feels like ages since the last episode. But
I know.
Technically and chronologically and all that, it's not. But
yeah, it does. Yeah.
How have you been, mate?
Well, I've got your blimmin' flu, haven't I? You've given it to me over Skype. No, I've been ill. Been wrapped up in a blanket, feeling sorry for myself.
Oh,
trying to get some sympathy, but no one gives any anymore, do they? No, I'm all right. I've just got the dreaded man flu that you had. Well, you've still got it as well, haven't you?
I've got a tiny bit of it. It's almost ready to depart. It's just...
No, it just keeps coming back.
Like a little Cybermat just clinging onto the edge of the TARDIS as it's flying through space. It's almost falling off. Yeah. Almost. But do you do what I do when I'm ill? Because I normally just sort of get on with... I don't let illness sort of put me into, a bedridden coma. I just sort of get on with it. But I do have these moments where I make a little camp. So I go on the sofa, I've got Doctor Who on, and I've got my tissues and a cup of tea and phone, and I've got like a little camp around me so that I don't have to... Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I quite like it, actually. I've been getting in from work because I couldn't get anyone to cover me at work. So I've been like, I've had to work and I'm ill. So I've been coming in and all wrapping myself up, just like you said, with a little, hot drink, some terrible old tasting Lemsip, and putting on some comfort TV. I watched some right rubbish while I've been ill. I don't know why, whenever I, like you, it's a comfort thing, isn't it? I like to just sort of, I like to drift back and watch some stuff from my childhood. So I've been watching a bit of Knight Rider, which I've been absolutely loving. It is the original. Not the new. No, I haven't gone. I mean, I've gone to sort of the first early series as well, because I seem to remember that I think it's in series 4. Kit as this, they jazz him up too much, so he gets like this super pursuit mode. I remember I hated that as a kid, so I'm sticking with like the classic stuff and been watching a bit of that. I've been listening to a big Finish as well, actually. But not Doctor Who, unfortunately. So again, bit of a rebel this week, because I've been waiting for them to reduce that blimmin' Prisoner box set since it came out, because I'm a massive Prisoner fan, as you know. But even I wasn't prepared to pay 40 quid for the box set. Anyway, they finally reduced it for one day only, and I literally noticed the offer about an hour before midnight. It's like literally I got there just in time to get it for the one day offer, and I was really chuffed. So I downloaded that, and I've been listening to a bit of that as well, and it's really good. I don't know, have you ever watched Prisoner?
I know of it. Isn't it with the big
great series
white ball that floats around?
Yeah, it's that one. They did do a remake a few years ago now, an American one set in a desert. So yeah, I've been watching a bit of that, and I have to say I haven't really been doing much Doctor Who wise. I did. The only thing I can think of really is that I did pop into town at the weekend, and they had the Doctor Who annual, the new 2018 Doctor Who annual.
Oh yeah.
I didn't buy it because it was full price. And I thought, well, no, because that'll be reduced any day now. So I didn't buy it, but I did flick through it. It's weird because it already feels kind of out of date because we've had all the announcements for like Jodie and everything, I was sort of looking at the cover thinking, so we've got Capaldi, Bill and Nardole. And it already feels like an out-of-date annual, if you know what I mean, because it's just we're all so geared up for the new series. But I flicked through it; it's okay. And the nice thing is, it has got Jodie on the back page, which was cool. I thought was a nice touch. Yeah, it's just got a little picture of Capaldi with a speech. Can't remember what he's saying. Something about moving on and things changing. And then on the next page, the very last page, it's got the 13th Doctor. So I thought, that's really cool. So that makes it feel a bit more current, if you like. But yeah, as I said, I didn't buy it because I'm sure, you never buy an annual full price because
never. For two reasons. You either get it bought for you as a present because nobody knows what to buy for you.
Yeah, so there were three of them.
They see the annual, yeah. Or WH Smith, they always do it for ridiculous cheap money after Christmas, don't they? It's normally £2 or something.
Yeah, I remember seeing in the works, the last annual in the works was like £1. And I think it was even before Christmas. It was like, a couple of weeks before. They obviously just got loads of it. I kind of want to pick up, I don't know if you've seen, you remember the Doctor Who calendar we were talking about, the official one? We were talking about a couple of weeks back, weren't we? Saying we weren't sure about the design and that they'd run out of ideas. Well, our good friend Adam, the Ultimate Whovian, bought it and he was posting pictures of all the mistakes in it. Like, it's got like the Tom Baker's Doctor with a picture of the classics with the new series Zygons behind him. And he's like, they haven't even got the Zygons right. And it's got like a quote from the Master saying something about destroying Earth or something, quoted as the Third Doctor in great big letters on the Third Doctor's page, and it's a bit of a shambles. What's the other one? There's loads of mistakes in it, but do you know what? It's weird because it kind of makes me want it more because it's just like it's so bad. I kind of want it just because it's got all these mistakes in it. What's the other ones? There's loads.
Yeah,
like once they started looking through them, it was like tweet after tweet of I've just noticed this as well. And
yeah, there was a TARDIS there was a couple of TARDIS blips as well that somebody had tweeted. They used the wrong TARDIS. Oh, it was just a nightmare. But do you reckon it was intern week then? Do you reckon it was?
It must have been either that or they really, really just don't care. It's like, can you just tick this off for me so I can get this into print? Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah, roll the papers. Yeah, but there was like a tech trap on the Six Doctors month as well or something, and loads of little mistakes like that. I don't know who it is. There's a guy on Twitter I follow who's brilliant, who does like mock-up Target book covers. They're really funny, and he did his own version of the calendar. And I tell you, I was looking at them. I was looking at his Twitter feed in bed, and I was absolutely cracking up. My partner was in the bathroom going, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Just this covers this guy's done. Hilarious. They're actually better than the real thing. Like, I wish this was a real calendar." He'd like put, Richard Hundrell on the First Doctor's page and things like that, and just really taking the mickey. But it was brilliant. So I might, again, when that's reduced, when that's in the Poundland or whatever, I might grab it for a couple of quid. So I've got it. Yeah, just so I've got it.
So you've got the crappy one.
Yeah, that and the annual.
Indeed.
Reduced in the stocking. Apart from that, I haven't been up to much, mate. I went to see It. I know you went to see that.
Indeed. The clown Pennywise.
Yeah, the clown thing. I quite enjoyed it, actually. I know your other half was terrified, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah. She
hated it.
Yeah, a bit of wee came out within 20 minutes, mate. She was gone.
I was surprised there was some good jumpy bits in it. I was surprised because I'm not really one for horror. I like psychological horror, but I don't like gory stuff. But it's not that gory, is it? There's a few bits, but it's mostly jumpy. And some of the bits which I think were meant to be scary were actually, I found really funny. I don't know if you thought that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes where I was thinking, oh, this is so ridiculous, but I think it's meant to be scary.
Yeah.
But I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it.
I know what you mean. It's a bit like certain classic Who episodes. They're meant to be extremely serious at times, but end up being hilariously funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So that's been me, mate. Yes, just cinema, illness, annuals, calendars, just an average week of Doctor Who fan, really.
An average week, yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Not a lot, really. You'll be pleased to know, anyone that follows the Twitter feed will be pleased to know, or the Instagram feed, I finally found a copy of Doctor Who magazine
for
this month.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, mate, it's such a bizarre situation. And what compounds the issue is that loads of people popped up on Twitter to say exactly the same thing.
Same thing. I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, because as I said, because I don't subscribe, I normally just pick up the issues that I particularly want to read if there's a good interview in it or something. But every single month, it doesn't matter where I go, if it's WH Smith's or Sainsbury's, Tesco's, anywhere like that, you can't move for copies of Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah.
They've always got, I never go into a newsagent's or WH Smith's and see there's just one left on the shelf or anything like that. There's always at least 6 or 7 copies there. But for some reason, I couldn't find this month's copy anywhere. I just couldn't find it. I went into my WH Smith's in town where I live, wasn't there. I normally pick it up in Sainsbury's if I'm going to get it, wasn't there. Had a trip to Tesco's because we needed a few bits, wasn't in there. Anyways, I was in Liverpool at the weekend because me and the wife were doing a 10K race up there. And on the way back, we were knackered. So right, we're going to stop and get a coffee. And I thought, I'll just nip into this Smith's it's a long shot because it's a service station on the motorway. It's not the sort of place you'd expect to see it. Yeah. Anyways, right in the corner, their little geek tech section of magazines. There it is. 1 copy left.
Wow.
1 copy left.
How weird is that?
I just couldn't believe it.
Just waiting for you all that time.
Yeah, I saw Sylvester's little face just popping out of the shelf going, Gary, I'm here. Come and buy me, I'm over here.
Do it with the rolling R, Gary. I'm here.
He was calling me. He was like, I'm just ready. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I must have looked like the happiest guy ever to pay for anything at a service station. It was really weird. So I finally bagged that. And have I read it yet? Of course not.
No, I know. After same all that, as me, actually. Yeah.
After all that fuss and trying to get it, I still haven't read it yet.
You just wanted it. Yeah.
Yes. Something else. One of our followers, really cool guy actually. He has so many followers. You've probably seen a Twitter account called. The Twitter account is just called Classic Doctor Who, and the Twitter name is the Ark in Space. And he replied to us to say, thank you very much for the plug for Steve Camden's book. Remember last episode we spoke about the 2 unofficial books that Steve Camden had wrote.
Oh, yes.
You know, The Doctor's Effect and The Doctor's Effects. And he basically clarified that these are not ebooks.
Right, I did wonder because you said about the autograph, yeah.
So he said they are not ebooks, but they are the original versions that have been all signed, and now they're available via 70.net or PayPal, as we said.
Ah, right, okay.
So just to clarify, ignore what I said last week. They are not ebooks; they are the proper printed paperbacks. So thank you very much, Classic Doctor Who.
Talking of replies, did you get anything back from... Because I know you tweeted Doctor Who Magazine to say how difficult it was to find the mag. Did you actually get any reply to them? Because it seems like a few people have had that issue this month.
I did not.
Okay. I just wondered because
yet.
It does seem to happen every now and again that, I'm just wondering do you think some months they use a different delivery guy or something? Because they have it sometimes with the specials where you just can't get it for love nor money. And it's like, well, they're out there. And you're like, well, where? As the delivery driver just said, yeah, I'll do them for you. Just throw them in the bin, would you? He sat there with his feet up saying, yeah, I've delivered all that for you. And actually just throw them all in the bin. Because it does happen now and again. So, I don't know what the reason is for it.
Or do you reckon the courier company is a massive Doctor Who fan?
Oh,
and he's like, I'm going to have them.
I'll have them.
Yeah.
Thousands of copies of Sylvester's face on his wall. Yeah, I'll have all of them.
Yeah, he just got overexcited. And he's just like, yes, I'm going to bag myself 30,000 copies of Doctor Who. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but
unless Sylvester's been going round buying them all because he's so excited he's on the front. He's like, I must get one for my friend Dolly, and I must... Right. Oh, Bonnie will want one. Sophie, have you got one? No, you better have one.
Yeah, I'll safe. She'll want one because she's in it as well, isn't she? She does a little. Yeah.
So it could be Sylvester. I have to ask him next time I see him.
Yeah, put them spoons down, mate. What have you done with all the magazines?
What did I see him on recently with some giant spoons, or was that a dream? I don't know. He seems to have been getting around a lot lately, Sylvester. No, it wasn't a dream. That's right. He was at some convention last weekend, wasn't he?
He was.
Coventry.
Coventry.
What was it? Can't remember the name of it.
Wasn't it just MCM at Coventry or something? No, it was a Doctor Who one, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely forgotten the convention because I saw a few people we know went, and he was there, wasn't he? I think Davison might have been there. Was it the one you were looking at going at?
Hold on, was it the Epsom at the
Yes,
Playhouse?
that's the one. Playhouse, that's it. Yeah, that looked pretty cool actually.
Yes, that's what I was going to go to. I was going to go to that, but I ended up being away the weekend.
Was Davison there?
He was there. Yeah. Hold on, that's not the one that Silver's at.
Oh, is it not?
No. Yeah, so that one that you're thinking of, Playhouse one, that was Colin Baker, Davison, John Lees, and some other people.
Yeah.
The one that we're thinking of was the Coventry Comic Con that was on the weekend just gone.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that was that had Sylvester there. Who else did it have there? A load of people there.
So yeah, Sophie was there, wasn't she, as well? You're right, it's the two of them.
And someone else from Who as well. But yeah, they had there's loads of photos came out because Coventry is quite a small Comic-Con, really. You don't really hear much about it. But it had a load of photos coming out of there on Twitter, which is good. It looked like a really good day, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've just been seeing loads of pictures of this last week of people from various events. So yeah, it's quite cool. Good to see them out and about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frat Silver had a big table there of all his stacked up issues. He's like, I'll sign these. They're only 20 quid each. He's like, no, I'll just get it for $4.99.
Yeah, I'll just go and get it from the newsagents, and he's just rubbing his hands like, I don't think you will. Not anymore, you won't.
Yeah.
But I suppose the moral of the story is just subscribe to the magazine, and like you, I get it folded up into several pieces and shoved through the letterbox.
There's it folded in half, shoved through the letterbox, or thrown over the wall, whichever, depending on which postman you get. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, I do love. I always love it when it drops through letterbox, but yeah, it just comes in a bag, so be prepared. It doesn't always arrive in mint condition. I've got to be honest. Yeah.
Mint condition. Thank you, Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
What you want to do is look out for him. So when you see him come up the path, run down the stairs and actually open the door and take it off him.
Yeah, so I would have a little security camera on the wall or something so I could see him come. Here he's coming. Get down there.
Put the post on the ground. Move away slowly.
You probably, I know what his reaction to that would be. He'd just go, throw it over the wall.
Toy it over the wall.
There you go. Yeah, you are.
Bloody postman, eh?
Yeah, I know.
Quick update on the writers' stuff that we advertised for. So a couple of weeks ago, we opened up the TARDIS exterior for you guys to come in and join the team. We put out an advert asking for some writers and so on. Thank you so much to everybody that emailed in. We got, I think you all agree, mate, we got bags more.
It was great. Yeah, we got loads.
Than we expected.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that was really good. It was really good, actually, to read through them all as well, because you guys put some great articles in and sample stuff. Really, really good. However, there could be only, a couple of people that we would choose. So I can't announce who they are at the moment because we're still finalising a couple of people. So we have definitely chose one person, which is good. And that person is raring to go, and that's going to be good. And we're just whittling down a few other people at the minute. So we're not quite there, but we will definitely be ready to announce next week's show who they will be. So we can't accept any more applications, so that's all closed. But rest assured, next week we'll announce who our two new team writers are, and can look forward to their articles, all of their reviews and thoughts and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they're going to do, actually. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be great.
It is.
So thank you so much. But next week you'll know who they are, and you can extend your welcome to those guys and make them feel part of the team.
Yeah. Introduce them to Dalek Tat. He can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, he's got a hidden agenda, I reckon.
What was he thinking?
I don't know. He's been fiddling with that, with his eye stalk a little bit. He's tampering with his internals because I had to disable the laser gun, the extermination thing. Because otherwise we went through like 15 pets in a week.
Yeah, that's right. We don't want any target practice for him.
All I saw was like fried carcasses of gerbils and hamsters littered all over the place. What are you doing? His only answer was exterminate. Well, I can't be having this. No way.
No.
So he's been fiddling away, though. He's up to something, for sure.
Yeah. Just better let our new team be aware of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Just tread carefully. We'll keep him on a leash. We'll chain him up.
Of course. Anyways, shall we land it and do the news?
Yeah, we should.
Only bit of news this week is we have a new Doctor Who game on the way from a company you probably know. If you played, you remember when there was a game called
is it Doctor Who Legacy?
Legacy. It was a sort of mobile phone and iPad only sort of game that dropped a couple of years back.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, by a company called Tiny Rebel Games. It was really popular for a while. It's like it was like a turn in. It's like you took it in turns to kind of choose each character, and then depending on their power, they would launch attacks. And it was like a turn-based mobile game. It's pretty good, actually. I played it for a couple of months. It was good. I think it's still going. I think up until the last few months, they were still releasing new character packs and so on. But anyways, those guys, Tiny Rebel Games, a new game is on the way for 2018 called Doctor Who Infinity. And just to give you a bit of spiel, this is officially licensed, by the way, because if you go on the App Store or on the Android
there's
store,
loads, isn't there? Yeah.
There's quite a few dodgy looking third-party games.
Yeah.
Which is, some of them are a bit quirky and fun, I suppose, but they're not official anyway. But these guys, Tiny Rebel, they do have the official license from Doctor Who. So everything you see is, the correct music and logo and all that jazz. So give you a bit of spiel on it. Susan Cummings, who works at Tiny Rebel Games, says, she's the executive producer, by the way. She says it's been an incredible delight to put together an extraordinarily talented people to realise our ambitions for this new game. She thinks Doctor Who fans everywhere are going to be amazed at how we have taken everything we've learned from Doctor Who Legacy and brought it to the next level in every way imaginable. So, based on the spiel and what people have said, I think it's going to be a similar type of game by the sounds of it. I don't think it's going to be...
Yeah, it does sound like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an all singing, dancing AAA title that's going to be up there with like Call of Duty and and all that stuff. But just a bit more, it just says, Doctor Who Infinity builds on the addictive puzzle gameplay of Legacy to immerse players in a comic book style puzzle. Each story-based adventure has its unique art style and author. To bring these original stories to life, Tiny Rebel Games have recruited an incredible team of major British Doctor Who writers and internationally renowned comic book artists to illustrate the stories. Now, if you look at some of the promo pics they've put out, most of it does look like a comic book anyway. So, yes, that is out in spring 2018. Apparently, it's available not only on phones, but this time on computers as well. And it'll be out for iOS, Google, and on PC.
I gotta say, the comic book side of it actually makes it sound more interesting to me. I don't know about you, but I quite like the sound of that. Well, it sounds just something a bit different, I think. So it'd be quite interesting to see. I did play Legacy very, very briefly. I mean, I'm terrible at games. I love them. I love downloading them, and then I just have a very limited what do you call it? A limited attention span. So as soon as I get killed a couple of times, I then give up and then never play them again. So, but it does sound. I like the sound of it. I know a lot of people liked Legacy, didn't they? So
yes,
yeah, it could be a good follow-up.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll give it a look when it comes out.
Yeah, so that's the only bit of news. Very light at the moment. Not much going on.
Nah.
But we do have our metal friend lurking with his big blue eye stalk poking through the keyhole. So it's getting me.
It's getting me.
Merch corner. Merch corner.
Much corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Adam.
Gary.
Do you prefer short trips or long trips?
Oh, do you know, it's funny. I quite like the short trips, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fans of Big Finish will know that alongside the main range and the usual box set affair that Big Finish are famous for, they also do a range of stories called short trips.
Yeah.
Which are stories that are set within a particular Doctor's time or era, but they're not performed in a kind of cinematic way like the other Big Finish stories are. Basically, somebody who was normally involved with that era, it's normally a companion or somebody, narrates a short story, as the name suggests, about that Doctor and so on. And they've done loads of these. They've done McCoy, McGann, Davison.
Oh, they've done loads, yeah.
They've done quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have some new ones on the horizon, and they take the form of the 10th Doctor's era. And there are two that have been announced so far. One of them will be titled The Siege of Big Ben.
Ooh.
And this is read by Camille Kaduri.
Yes, I love her.
Who is the very awesome Jackie Tyler.
Jackie, yeah.
And the blurb for this one is Jackie Tyler has everything she's ever wanted.
Golly.
A loving husband, 2 children, and a vital role in the Earth Defense Organization headquartered in Big Ben. But now that the world is out of the shadow of the Cybus organization, others have spotted an opportunity. A terrible, far-reaching plan is underway, and only Jackie and the new scientific advisor stand in the way. But the Doctor isn't the man he was.
What does that mean? ...
ellipsis, whatever. So that sounds quite fun.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is alternate universe Jackie.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I guess it must be then. Yeah.
If she's married with 2 Chidlers.
Yeah, must be.
I would say so. That sounds cool. And then the other story is, I really don't know what to say to this one. So this one is called Flight into Hull.
Hull.
And for our international friends, Hull isn't like the hull of a ship. We have a town here, or a city it might be, called Hull.
Yeah.
And it's a fun, amazing place. Anyway, this is also read by Camille Kaduri. And synopsis is thus. Jackie Tyler's lost a close friend, and this new Doctor is only a half-hearted replacement for him. But as she tries to put the events of Big Ben behind her and take a well-earned break, others have spotted an opportunity. A well-intentioned, far-reaching plan is underway, but Jackie Tyler isn't the woman she was. ... ellipsis. Gosh. So this also, I think this is confirmation then that this is alternate universe stuff, because it says the Doctor's half-hearted. So
yeah, it's that, what do you call it? The one that he left on the beach.
Yeah, so this is the whole, isn't this the whole meta-crisis Doctor thing? So
yeah,
listeners who don't know what we're talking about most probably do. The end of series 3?
Is it Doomsday?
2, 3. It's the one where they get everybody together. So Captain Jack, Donna, Rose, Mickey, everybody comes back to save the Earth. It's the one where they tow the Earth back.
That's it.
From the Medusa something. What's it called?
Oh,
the Medusa something. Well, all the planets. Anyway, they tow the Earth back. And hold on, is that the right one? No, because Rose has come back from that in that point, hasn't she? Oh, this is the end of series 2. So the end of series 2, Rose slips into another dimension, an alternate universe.
I think you were right the first time, and I was wrong.
Oh,
I was thinking Doomsday of Rose on the beach, but no, it's not. You're right. It's that one where he grows out of the hand, and it is series 3. I think. Our listeners will know.
Our listeners will know. They know what we mean.
Yeah.
So basically, the Doctor has this reaction to the regeneration energy. At the same, so the Doctor regenerates from the spare hand that was lopped off, and the Doctor that regenerates as part of the meta crisis is half human. Is that right? But he's only got one heart.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and he ends up staying with Rose and Jackie in the alternate universe. So Rose chooses between, he basically says, he's just like me, all that stuff, and they have a big kiss, and they stay there. So we're getting off track here, but.
I never like. Can I just say I never liked that
you didn't
storyline? No, to that David Tennant. Yeah, I never liked all that. Anyway, that's not to detract from these. I mean, these might be quite interesting, but yeah.
Yes, I think the first one sounds a bit more. I don't know, the Siege of Big Ben, and then Flight into Hull. I'm not sure. The covers are a bit weird, anyway, because the cover for the Big Ben story has got the alternate Doctor and Jackie in very familiar pose. But the other one, Jackie looks very different, so I'm assuming that something's happened to her in the previous story.
Yeah, because I must admit, before I read the synopsis, I was assuming one was going to be like, normal universe and one the alternative universe because of the way she looked on the cover. But I think I might have got that wrong now we've looked into it a bit. But they're both written by Joseph Lister, and he's normally pretty good. So, yeah, they're probably worth a listen, I would say. Because I like Camille as well. I just think she's kind of made for audio. She's such a bubbly personality, isn't she? They're bound to be a good listen anyway.
Yeah. So there we go. 2 new short trips. And these are available in November, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Right. Gary, if I said the name Olive Hawthorne, what would you think of?
Olive Hawthorne.
Yeah. The old spinster.
Yeah. I'm thinking quaint little English village.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Yeah.
And she's been there defending it for quite a while, apparently, because there's a new book coming out. Well, actually, there's a DVD coming out, which has been in the pipeline for ages. I think it was I don't know, it was an old video that they wanted to put onto DVD, and it's finally coming out. I don't know what it's called. Something about Daemons of Devils. I don't know.
The Daemons of Devil's End.
A Devil's End. So is it the same name as the book? I suppose it would be.
Yep.
Yeah. So to my surprise, so they're releasing this DVD, but they're also releasing a book of the same story, which is actually quite cool because there's going to be an alternative cover for this, which looks very much like the old Target books in its style, and I really like that. Mm-hmm. So basically, so there's this new story or old story, however you want to look at it, which is basically going back to Devil's End, as featured in the Third Doctor story, The Daemons. And one of the characters in that story was Olive Hawthorne. And it seems that she's been looking after things after the Doctor left. So after they finished having their pint and Unit left the village, it seems like she was there protecting it all. And this is the story about her and what she did, to defend Devil's End. So it sounds like quite a good book. And there's going to be a signing for this. Going to be a couple of signings, but there's going to be one at Forbidden Planet. There's going to be quite a few people there as well. I'm just going to click on the link and see.
Loads, yeah. So Sam
There's
Stone,
loads, isn't there?
Raven Dane, David Howe, Debbie Bennett, and Susie Babiri.
Yeah.
Who all star in this, I assume, or have had a hand in writing it or whatever.
And that's happening on Friday the 10th of November at 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Forbidden Planet, London, that is. So, yeah, if you're in the area, that would be a good thing to get along with. I mean, when does the DVD come out, though? Because I love the sound of this book. I think that's really cool. But I'd quite like to get both. I'd like to get, like, the DVD and the book. But I'm not sure when the DVD's coming out. Presumably quite soon as well.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at my good friends, Galaxy 4. They're always good. Let's see, because they'll have it on there. Because, as I said, for some reason, this has been put back for quite some time. This release date. I don't know if it's due to clearance rights or what. I don't know. But she was a cool character in that. I mean, she does stand out in my mind. I mean, just seeing the cover of this as well. And she's wrapped up in her cloak, and she was a good character. So I can imagine her carrying her own storyline, if you like.
Yeah, it's out in mid-November, the DVD.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, 13th.
Yeah, The Daemons of Devil's End. Good title as well, isn't it?
Looks awesome.
Yeah, it does look good.
And lastly, for merch, Those of you that did not pick up the single Part 1 and Part 2 box sets of Series 10 will be pleased to know that the complete Series 10 box sets will be available again on the 13th of November.
Oh.
So only a little bit of a wait is upon us for that one. There's no cover yet, so if you're listening to this podcast on launch day, which is the 7th of October, is it the 7th?
Yeah.
7th, yeah.
5th, 6th, no, 6th.
6th. Oh, crikey. If you're listening to this on launch day, which is the 6th of October, then you should be seeing whatever cover they've decided to use for this today.
Mm.
And it's going to be priced at $35.99. I'm assuming that's the Blu-ray box set at that price. Normally the DVD's a bit cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's normally $29.99, I think, for the DVD. But that's cool, though, because I didn't pick up the first two, Part 1 and Part 2 Blu-rays. So I normally wait for the complete one. So, yeah. What do you reckon on price? Loads of people have kicked off about the price. I think it's...
saying it's too much?
Yeah, I think for an entire series, it's not too bad.
But I don't know. I mean, also, don't forget, they always, whenever they release these things, they never come out at the full recommended retail price. In fact, it's always a bit of a joke, really, isn't it? It's like, recommended retail price £36, but get it today for like $29.99. And you're like, why don't you just say it's $29.99? So I don't know. Very rarely do you end up paying full price for these things. I don't think it's too bad for a box set. I mean, it's quite a few discs in it, 4, and you got another disc of extras, 5. Presumably you'll get Mysterio in there, but don't let that put you off. But, but you won't get you obviously won't get the new Christmas special because it's not out yet. So I think that's the thing most people would have wanted, though. I have to be honest. I think a lot of people would have just preferred if they'd have just waited. I think people would have been, because there's parts 1 and 2 are out there if you're desperate for it. I think a lot of people would have been quite happy to have waited till after Christmas to get the complete Capaldi era nicely wrapped up in one big box. But yeah, so to me, this still feels a little bit bitty, because you're going to get Series 10, you're going to get last year's Christmas special, and then next year you'll get a standalone release for Twice Upon a Time. So it still doesn't feel like a nice complete box set to me, but there we go. That's what they're doing. So law unto himself, the BBC.
Exactly. Well, we've waited over 2 years for the Series 9 box soundtrack that hasn't materialised yet. So
no.
I'm sure we can wait a few months more for the... It would have been nice to pop the Christmas special there, but that's the BBC sometimes. You've got to, as a Doctor Who fan, you've just got to accept that the BBC sometimes is a bit of a cash cow. They will do this sort of thing. So I'm guessing that the Christmas special will be available to buy a few months after Christmas as a separate purchase, and that'll be another 20 quid or whatever.
So I hope they do. It'd be nice if they tied in a Series 9 and 10 soundtrack or something with the release. I mean, it does feel... It is a shame having that gap, because we've had soundtracks for every year pretty much, haven't we? So I know they put Series 1 and 2 together, but yeah, we've had soundtracks for every other series, and don't know, it does feel a shame that we didn't get 9 and 10. And there was some great music in Series 10, actually. Really liked Murray's stuff in 10. It sounded like he was trying to experiment a bit more, didn't it? So it'd be nice if they did a time release. It's bizarre, actually, because Blair Mowat, the guy who did music for Class, announced on Twitter the other day that they're going to be releasing a Class soundtrack.
I know.
And people were like, well, that's all well and good. And as much as I didn't like Class, I did like his music. But where's the Series 9 soundtrack? This is really strange that they're releasing a Class soundtrack before Series 9 and 10s come out. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, maybe things are in progress. We don't know. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yes.
So that's news and merch. Sad times ahead.
It is, yeah. Oh dear.
I'm not liking this.
No.
I don't like the fact that we've run out of Eccleston episodes to now review. It feels like the end of a chapter, an era.
It was always going to come, though, wasn't it? I mean, it's just, he only did that one series, so yeah, it had to happen.
We had We have a finite amount of episodes, but there we go. So anyways, Adam.
Yeah, here we go.
What are we going to review this week?
So it's the final of the final of the final Ninth Doctor episode. It's, of course, The Parting of the Ways.
Blythe Droog.
What's it mean?
Bad wolf.
But I've heard that before. Bad wolf. I've heard that lots of times.
The things you've seen. The darkness. The big bad wolf.
Attention all personnel. Bad Wolf 1 descending.
Everywhere we go, 2 words. Following us.
My masters, they fear the Doctor.
Tell me, who are they?
They were destroyed.
Obviously they survived.
We have your associate. You will obey or she will be exterminated.
Rose,
Yes, Doctor?
I'm coming to get you.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are at war. There's an army about to invade this station.
TARDIS detected. In flight. Launch missiles. Exterminate.
You can't! The TARDIS hasn't got any defenses. You're gonna kill him!
You have predicted correctly.
How did you survive the Time War?
They survived through me.
I'm dead or about to die any second with no chance of escape.
Wowzers.
Go. Whew.
Cool.
This is how you do a final. It's all going on in there, isn't it?
This is how you do a series finale. So The Parting of the Ways came firing onto our screens on the 18th of June 2005. It was written by Russell T Davies and directed by Joe Ahern, who directed the previous episode, Bad Wolf, as well. And it stars the usual suspects from the previous one. So the Doctor and Rose, Captain Jack, and obviously Mr. Tennant's right at the end.
Yeah, it's weird. I always forget he's in it. It might sound strange. Yeah.
So The Parting of the Ways, what do you reckon, buddy?
I can't rate this story high enough. I just absolutely adore it. I have loved it since the moment I very first saw it, when it was first shown. It blew me away. It literally blew me away. I just remember sitting gobsmacked at how good it was the first time round, and I have watched it many times since. And I watched it again yesterday. I always watch it before we review because you're a little bit more critical when we're watching for the podcast. You're looking for things to give a balanced review on it. And I just sat there. I just thought this is a great episode, a great piece of television, great performances. And it's one of those episodes that has not just 1 or 2 moments, but 3 or 4 moments that just reduce me to rubble in the terms of the writing is so moving and so brilliant. And I love this episode. I just absolutely love it. I'm not going to find hardly anything to fault with it because I just think it's a brilliant finale. There are a few little nitpicks. Nothing is perfect, but as finals go, I think Russell really pulled it out the bag with this one. It's on fire. I love it, and it's a great conclusion to Bad Wolf as well. It's not like some finales which will remain nameless, where you get a good first part and then the second part just kind of undoes all the goodness and falls flat. This one for me just ramps it up another level, and it was already on a roll, so it just ramps it up another level and takes it all the way home. I think it's a great episode. What about you?
Yep, I have to concur with you on this, mate.
Yeah,
it's potentially one of the best. It's certainly one of the best finales that we've had since 2005.
Yeah.
It's one of the best performances from an actor. And it's one of the best... it's just, like you said, it's just great television. Even if you're not a Doctor Who fan, but you enjoy sci-fi and that sort of genre, it's a fantastic watch. It really is. And it's just a bit of a roller coaster because, like you said, Bad Wolf was already gave you a solid episode, really enjoyable set up to the finale. and then this one just takes it up another gear. It's like, how can they keep? Because you, like you said, at the end of Bad Wolf, you think, well, crikey, that was a really good watch. But then in this one, right from the off, it just goes up another gear, and then halfway through it's another gear, and then by the end of it, you're just exhausted because it's been a bit of a roller coaster. So there's a bit of humour in there. There's obviously some sadness in there, and it's just Russell's. It's episodes like this that just show off his genius as a television writer. It really does, because it manages to balance everything in there perfectly. So you've got action, you've got slower moments of, where the Doctor can kind of see the end coming. There's sort of moments within it where he can kind of see what's going to happen. And then it ultimately, it does, because he locks TARDISes and he locks Rose in the TARDIS and, sends her off to safety. Yeah. And then we have a bit of a comeback and we think, no, he's going to be all right. And then, there's some humour again with Captain Jack, but then he's takes up the sort of Rambo thing, but then he dies, and then it's just it just balances all the elements really nicely, and at the end it sort of slows down into this lovely exit.
It's a lovely exit, actually. It is, and it's not predictable either. Like, you think the story's going one way, and then it flips on its head, and it's constantly moving and evolving, this story. Like, it does keep you engaged, I think, all the way through. Like, even though I've seen it goodness knows how many times, I never get bored of watching this story. I literally can just sit there from beginning to end, and I'm just completely satisfied with everything that's going on. It's like I said, you sort of like the Dalek saying, he won't use it because he hasn't told you yet, but if he does use it, he can't distinguish between Dalek and human, so he's never going to use it. And you're like, oh, okay, where does that come from? There's all these little things, and you're sort of thinking, well, will he use it? Won't he? It's just brilliant storytelling. It's really engaging.
It is really, and there's not one point throughout the entire story where you reach for your phone or anything like that. You're just glued to it. It's awesome. And we also get a slightly different Dalek threat as well. So it's not just a fleet of run-of-the-mill Daleks who are who want to take over and destroy the Earth. We have this Emperor Dalek who sort of provides a bit more of an intelligent battle plan for the Daleks, if you like. He tries to sort of outwit the Doctor and call his bluff, and he's a bit more of
he's a bit cocky,
a capable fellow compared to the standard Dalek. So that's cool.
I love the Emperor Dalek. Actually, it's weird because I remember like the first time it was shown, and you get to hear the voice at the very end of the trailer for Bad Wolf, and I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if that's Davros. Because just automatically assumed, they survived through me. I was thinking, oh, could it be Davros? So, but obviously we get the reveal that it's the Emperor Dalek. And not only do I love the design, I just, like you said, I love the fact that actually, although he's quite balmy because he thinks he's like the creator and all that, he's quite switched on, and he's a real good match for Eccleston's Doctor, isn't it? Like, there's some good dialogue between the two of them where you're like, that really works well, I think. But he looks great as well. I love the Emperor Dalek.
He looks awesome, yeah. Really
it's
cool.
a slight throwback to Evil of the Daleks, isn't it? A little bit. I like that. They've sort of tweaked the design and made it modern, and it's really, really nice.
His voice is really cool as well.
Good, isn't it? Yeah,
it's like this big thundering, deep
I assume
voice.
That's Briggsy, is it?
It's Briggs again, yeah. But it's just a different modulator and
tone. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
very, very good though. What do you think to the overall story and how this all sort of aligns as a two-parter and the direction and stuff like that? Do you think because it's seamless with the previous one because it's the same director and it's all filmed in the same block. It's very seamless. I could actually watch these two without any separation. I think it'd be great to watch these without any ending credits at Bad Wolf and the starting bit in.
I'd happily sit and watch these back to back. Yeah, and I'd forgotten actually how much other bits of Series 1 just come into play as well. I love these little sort of bits that Russell's dropped in throughout Series 1 all come together so brilliantly in this story. Like, there's little bits I'd forgotten about, like when Rose is talking to Jackie in the TARDIS And that's a scene I love because Jackie is so the mum in that scene. Like, you know, Rose is trying to tell her that Dad wouldn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, we'll never know, will we? And yes, he would have done. And she's trying to sort of fob Rose off. And then Rose reveals, well, he wouldn't because I've met him. And Jackie's face drops. And it just, you know, and then that ties in the whole Father's Day storyline. Just that one little tiny little scene. I thought, oh, this is brilliant. This is just bringing everything together. So it's bringing the long game together. It's bringing the Bad Wolf thing together. You know, it's just so well thought out. I mean, I don't know if Russell, you know, sat there and plotted it, you know, so perfectly, but everything just falls into place like a perfect jigsaw. All these lovely little moments, you know, and you think, all these little heart bats to little bits in the other episode. It's, you know, that's what I loved about it. And I'd forgotten about little bits like that. You know,
it's amazing.
About Father's Day and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, of course, yeah. So
I imagine that when Russell T Davies does a jigsaw puzzle, he just throws all the pieces up in the air.
Yeah.
And they land on the table perfectly done.
Perfectly.
But you're right, though. I'm not sure if he sat down at the beginning with Julie Gardner and some other people and said, look, this is the series from start to finish. And this is the story arc. And we're going to just throw little nuggets here and there. And it's all going to tie up nicely in part and other ways. Or like you said, if he just was writing it and thought, oh, hold on, maybe I could link this back. So I don't know, but he's just genius.
It's just, I think I've heard Russell say this in an interview somewhere, but I think even he said he's just amazed, without sounding big-headed, how much they got right in Series 1, because they didn't really have a clue what they were doing. I think he said something along those lines.
That's right.
And I always think that. I just think Series 1 stands up so well, and it's incredible because, yeah, you know, they were really sort of going in blind, having to try things. Does this work? Does that work? And it is amazing how much they got right. And like you said, it is brilliant how everything just seems to just fit so well in this finale, in terms of the whole series. So yeah, it's good.
In terms of direction and editing and stuff, I'm going to say very little about it. Not in a bad way, because I think it's just bang on and follows on, because it's all done in the same time as Bad Wolf. It's all exactly the same. And that's a great thing, because if they'd have changed directors or changed something between the two, between filming these things, it would have been a little bit sort of disjointed, but everything just follows on beautifully from one another. So all the sets are identical. It's lit exactly the same. You know, everything's just bang on. And it would have been a really cool little standalone film almost. So direction and editing for me are just really just bang on, just like last week.
It's funny you say about that being a film, because, you know, like when you're a Doctor Who fan and you watch these episodes and funny little silly thoughts go through your head, and I was sat there thinking the same, thinking, oh, I'd love it if they like put these two together and repeated them, because I just think it stands up so well. And I can just, you know, to fill in the gap between, because we've got such a long wait till series 11. I was thinking back to the good old days, you know, when the BBC used to put on repeats of Doctor Who to fill in the gaps, you know. Yeah. And I was thinking, it'd be really great if they repeated this, because I think, you know, like you said, if you were just, you know, if you had friends around or whatever, and they just happened to be sort of just casually watching Doctor Who or whatever, and that was on, I think it would still grip you. Like you said, even if you're not a big Doctor Who fan, you'd be quite like, oh, what's going on here then? You know, it's got enough in it to draw you in, I think, even if you're not like a massive fan. But then on the other hand, it's got loads in it if you are, you know, all those lovely little bits that you can sort of pick up on as a Doctor Who fan. But just going back to the direction, mate, I think it's really well done. There's a scene that whenever anybody mentions this episode, I always think of straight away. I don't know why, but it stays with me, and it is the scene. And this sort of ties in with the direction, because I just think it's such a simple idea, but the way it's done is amazing. It is the bit where poor old Linda with a Y gets shot through the glass. Is an incredible scene, and it's the first thing that comes to my head when anyone talks about this, because it's just so. It's the fact they do the exterminate in silence. And I just thought, I just, you know, it's such a great idea, and so, you know, so shocking, and it's just so memorable as well, because it's weird, because it just goes to show that the Daleks are so embedded in our minds that we know exactly what they're saying. They don't even need to say it. It's just the lights, exterminate. And then, that scene though, It's just brilliant, isn't it? And it's just heartbreaking as well.
It's horrible, that scene, because
it's nasty, but it's just so well done, and it's just it's just incredible, I think.
Yeah, because initially you think that the Doctor's going to save her because she's trapped behind this huge, thick wall or door.
Yeah,
and the Daleks get out their little welding blowtorch thing.
Yeah,
and they start going through the door. You think, well, it's going to take them bloody ages. By the time they've done that, the Doctor's going to have been in there and saved her. And
well, he's quite sure of it, isn't he? He's like, oh, no, you're fine. Don't panic. You're fine. Nothing. Was he say didn't get through those doors or something?
Yeah, it's designed to stop meteors and stuff, so you're perfectly safe. And then we think, oh, that's cool. Then she just needs to wait that bit out because it's going to take them forever to get through the door. But then in a split second, you see the dread in her face as she turns around, and you see, it's heartbreaking.
Well, this is why people say the Daleks are scary in this story, because they really are. Like scenes like that, they are so. I don't know if you sort of thought this as well, but in all the scenes when they're being deadly, they are so slow and calculating, and there's they're not rushing around shooting people. They're just slowly gliding and just being menacing and just terrifying, because they just seem unstoppable. And that scene in particular where they rise up and shoot poor Linda through the glass, and the scene of them coming around the corner, and before they shoot Captain Jack, and they are so menacingly and brilliantly done in this story and the previous one, but obviously more this one because they're in it more. But they're really frightening, I think, in this story, thanks to scenes like that, and down to the direction, the way they're written. They've got this force field that stops bullets, which could have been, if done a different way, could have been a bit tacky, but I think it works brilliantly. And when they're shooting people, we get the skeleton effect, which we saw in Remembrance, didn't we? So that's a nice throwback and stuff like that. Yeah, the Daleks are just awesome in this story, I think.
They are, because
they're on mass attack as well. There's thousands of them.
Yeah, and the ones that we do see, they don't hold back at all. We hear the words exterminate a lot in this episode, and it's great because some episodes with the Daleks, they can feel a little bit like the threat has already passed before they've even done anything. You just think, oh, here we go. But for this one, no, they don't hold back. They start exterminating people left, right and centre. And like you said, poor Linda with a Y, and she's gone. And they almost get the Doctor as well.
True. Yeah, there's a lot of killing. There is a lot of death in this, actually. One thing I did note, when I was watching this yesterday, there is a lot of death going on in this. It's quite bleak, like you said. But it's not too much. It's not depressing death in heaven bleak.
Oh no,
where you just want to switch it off. There's enough other lovely little moments in it to compensate for all the bleak death in this story. But yeah, if you actually sort of sit there and watch it, a lot of people, because I remember thinking sort of about half an hour in. This all feels like there's no way out. This is really good stuff. You know what I mean? Like even though I know that the Doctor's going to save the day somehow, or something's going to happen, it feels like everything's going wrong. Like even Captain Jack's just got exterminated. This is just not going well. And now the Doctor's saying he's what's he say? Mice, coward over killer or coward. And he's like coward every day, and you're thinking, oh God, no! Even the Doctor's like can't do it. And it's like, so how's this gonna end? It's it's just so compelling.
Yeah, and then the Moff went and screwed that up, didn't he?
What?
Never cowardly, never. What is it? The Moff wrote for him, for the Doctor. Sorry. But yeah, it's the thing I liked about this story as well was that it always brought you to the edge of, oh crap. So we have the sort of imminent Dalek threat. They're going to invade the station. You think, oh crikey, they haven't got the weapons to deal with them. So how's that going to work? And then Captain Jack gets killed. You're like, oh no. And then Rose gets sent off back to Earth, and she can't control the TARDIS, doesn't know what to do. So you think, oh crap, what's she going to do? The Doctor's clearly in a moral dilemma, and he's not going to blow everybody up because we know he's not going to. So you think, oh crap, how's he going to sort this out? So I like that at various points within the story, it brings you crashing down like, oh, this is going to end badly, or how's it going to sort it out? But then it just sort of happens, but not in a tacky, cheesy way. It's sort of
it's not an easy resolve, is it? It's not a rewrite. What do you call it? It's not a reset button, particularly.
Not really. But
no.
But it's good though as well, because like you said, there's some death in it. So the two guys, the guy
what
and the woman.
To our little mate Roderick?
Sorry?
What happens to our little mate Roderick? Because I remember us laughing at the scene where he's going on about his money.
Yeah, I won the game. I won the game. Well, he gets exterminated with all the other people on that floor, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, but then we have the controller people as well. They sort of finally tell each other how they sort of feel. She does it with a little cheeky wink, and
that's right.
And then they get killed, and you think, oh no, So it's all these points in the story where you think, oh, this is going so badly. How is this going to be sorted out? But then in true sort of Doctor Who fashion, it's emotionally tied up.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, you're saying about because obviously you've got loads of action going on in this. You've got some lovely quiet moments. And one of the scenes I absolutely love, and God, I just could watch it over and over again, is when, so it starts with the Doctor saying to Billy, there is another option. We could just leave. You just get out of it if you want. And she's like, no, we can't do that. He's like, no, you never even thought of it, did you? And that's lovely. That just shows that, Rose might be a bit bratty, and she gets a little bit jealous in this one. We start to see that side of Rose, but it does go to show that she's a decent companion that would never just, she doesn't even think of suggesting leaving. But the scene I absolutely love is, of course, the bit when he realizes he's got to save her, and he says to her, quick, get in there and do this. I've worked it all out. And then he just, it's Chris again, just being absolutely phenomenal when he just like shuts her in the TARDIS, because he comes running out as if he's doing it all, and then he just stops, doesn't he, and goes,
yeah.
Sonic, door's shut, Rose is gone. And then we get the bit that makes me bawl my eyes out every single time, which is the hologram scene. I just think it's phenomenal. It's because he does that. It's because he turns and looks at her at the end and does the whole have a good life, and it's that whole 5 minutes of television I could just watch, and I love it. I sit there and I'm emotional, and I'm just taking it all in, and it's brilliant. Just the fact that he sends her back, and then just when you think it can't get any better, Jack comes on and is like, you saved her, didn't you? He's like, yeah. He's like, wow, of course you did. And then, so you get that brilliant sort of companionship of the Doctor and Jack again. It's, I tell you, it just gets better and better. Yeah. It's just, but that's such a good scene, isn't it, mate, when he sends her back?
Oh, it's an amazing scene.
Yeah.
And that's why we say all the time that Russell is one of the best character writers in television, because with the Moff, and I don't mean to compare and bash the Moff too much, but with the Moff, it feels like everything has to be set up into a big scene for it to work. It seems like we have to build up to a big emotional scene, and then it's very wooden and doesn't leave. I mean, there are some scenes over the Moff era that pull on the heartstrings a little bit, but for some reason Russell just seems to do it effortless. There's no effort required. Just in the middle of an episode, out of nowhere, you get the lump in your throat, and you're like, oh, I can't handle this. It's just too emotional.
And it still does it to me.
Every time.
Even now, I've watched it so many times, even yesterday, watching it again and getting a little bit like snivelly, because it's just so moving.
It is.
And it's Murray's music as well. I've got to give credit. Murray's music just drifts in perfectly in these lovely little scenes, and just to finish you off. It's so well done. It's brilliant. And obviously that takes her back to Jackie, and because so then we get a nice bit of humour with her getting the big lorry out. So that's what I mean. You go from like being an emotional wreck to Jackie in a great big truck, and it's just one brilliant thing after another.
It's superb, mate. And that scene in the TARDIS where, because Chris Eccleston is just, I can't say he's perfect in this.
He is. He's absolutely brilliant in it. And I kept thinking all the way through, what was he thinking? Was he thinking, I'm leaving? Was he thinking, what was going through his head when he was filming this? Because, I assume, well, he must have decided by this point he was gone, because obviously he regenerates at the end. But, I just kept thinking all the way through, he's so on fire. He seems to be so, like, a part of what's going on. What was going on in his head? Was he just sort of thinking, "Oh, I'll be done. This is my final." I don't know. I just can't get my head around what he was thinking.
It's weird, isn't it? Because there were lots and lots of rumours and articles in the press for weeks and weeks leading up to it about his going and all that stuff. But you do wonder what was going through his mind at the time, because I mean, he's so strong in this. It doesn't feel like he's on the way out.
Not at all.
Throughout the entire episode. It's not until the final, even that scene in the TARDIS you just described where, his holographic self is talking to Rose. Even then, you don't think he's on the way out, because he's just rolling with it. Because, let's say, in Matt Smith's final episode, you do get the feeling that Matt Smith was absolutely just terribly upset to be going.
Yeah.
You could see that in his performance. And especially in David Tennant's last sort of 20 minutes on screen, you can tell that, it's destroying him inside, leaving that role. And you can tell that, but you don't see that with Chris in this. It's not until that very final couple of minutes where he's on the TARDIS and he's saying to Rose about, imagine me with no Ed. And even if he's trying to be funny, he's trying to cover over the emotion. And it's only those last couple of minutes when he's like that, you kind of feel like, he looks like he's feeling it a little bit. But everything previous to that, he doesn't look like he's a guy that's on the way out, who's sorry to be going. He's just got his game face on, he's on fire, and he's just so strong throughout the entire episode. It's incredible.
He seems to be running on. Yeah, I was going to say, he seems to be right at the top of his game, doesn't he? Like you said, he's not. He just. But that makes it even more. The way he goes even better, I think, because it's just that. I love the bit when he just looks down at his hand and sees the little glow. And going back to when I very first watched this, I was amazed. When he regenerated, I remember being absolutely open-mouthed, because there'd been all these rumours. Obviously we knew. I think they announced that Chris was leaving the week after his first story, didn't they? It was really early on, so we kind of knew that he was leaving, but we didn't really know much more than that. And I was thinking, okay, so they'll just fly off in the TARDIS. So when you start to get this inkling that there's going to be a regeneration at the end of the first series, I remember sat there. I can see myself in my bedroom as well, just being like, we're not actually going to get a regeneration, are we? Oh my God. Because you could sort of see it coming, and then it becomes clear that, I was thinking, oh my God, we're actually going to get a new Doctor. I can't believe this is happening. And then, obviously David Tennant comes on screen for like 5 seconds or whatever. But I tell you, mate, that was quite something to, as a Doctor Who fan, to witness back in the day. I was just gobsmacked. It actually was going to happen, because of all the rumors and stuff. You sort of think, well, they'll probably sort it out in series 2 or whatever. But to get it at the end of series 1, it's you don't see it coming at all. You can't tell it from Chris's performance. He's absolutely amazing right up to his very last sentence. When he's shouting, "Go away!" and and stuff. And it's so sad to see him go as well. He's talking about all the things. He had so many great plans and all that, and it's so heartfelt.
It is, isn't it? And I don't. Do you know what? I think that's the one thing that I think non-Doctor Who fans don't realise about the show. It's just how emotional it can be at times. I think for people that not necessarily don't like Doctor Who, but they just don't have any interest in it, and that's fair enough. They feel it's not their cup of tea. They probably just see it as a typical sci-fi show. Like a typical
they
British
just think of it as Daleks, and that's all there is. And
it's all kind of technical mumbo jumbo and time travel, and it's all very, just typical sci-fi stuff. But I think if somebody who had no interest at all in Doctor Who sat down and watched this, I reckon at the end they would probably be like, "Wow, I never would have expected to feel that." In something like this. So. And that is down to Chris, absolutely, 100%. Because I know that Rose plays a fairly big part. She has some emotional scenes. But like when David Tennant left, he was really upset in his regeneration, wasn't he? Like the whole, going off to see his past companions and so on. And his face, that bit where the Ood is sort of singing him back to the TARDIS because he's regenerating and he's collapsing. You can see his face, he's about to go every few seconds. And then when he's in the TARDIS, obviously, I don't want to go. It's just incredibly sad and upset. And that obviously gets you. But there's something about Chris's regeneration that just is just equally as powerful because he's trying to cover it up as much as he can. He doesn't want to go out crying and upset. He wants to almost be funny man till the end. He wants to be, and I just can't get over how he would have done that without collapsing into tears because I would have been a mess. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's weird, actually, and it's strange. This has only really just occurred to me. But, I suppose with all the other generations we've known so far in advance, they were leaving and there's all the big build-up to it. And I suppose that's quite unique with the Ninth Doctor, or certainly if for the time, is that there was none of that. So I think it was so great to have this surprise sort of regeneration at the end. And that's probably something we won't get again because, it's a bit like Jodie, isn't it? She's been announced so far in advance. And, that's how it is nowadays. We get shows announcing the new Doctor and, it's things have moved on and they'll never go back to being like that, I don't think. So that makes Chris's regeneration, I think, quite unique because people might have suspected it, but to throw David Tennant in at the end like that was quite something, I think. They did film an alternative ending, I've read, which I've never seen. I wish it was, I wish it had come out by now. Because as far as I know, it's not out there anywhere, is it? It's not on the DVD. They did film an original ending for, I think it was for the press screening or in case, I don't know, but where basically the TARDIS scans Rose and detects that she's dying, and obviously Chris doesn't regenerate, and it's sort of that's how it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would love to see that alternative ending, just to see how they might have, ended it. But obviously I can't picture it any other way now than with Chris going. So
yeah, it'd be cool to see, but we can't have it any other way.
No.
Now, so I think just. It just caps off a real unique series of Doctor Who with Chris.
Absolutely.
It's one of those episodes, and it also reflects across the whole series as well, just how good that series 1 was. Because that, I think we've said this a couple of times, that could have gone horribly wrong. That first series of Who, couldn't it?
And I know, apart from perhaps the long game, that I never get really bored of watching it. I mean, even the long game, I can quite happily sit and watch it, but it does engross me like the rest of Series 1. Like I love Series 1. Father's Day is brilliant. The opening episode, Rose, is great to watch. The Doctor dances the empty child is superb. I honestly think this might be one of my, quite possibly my favourite finale. I just adore it. I mean, I do like I like Tennant's last story. What other finales have we had? I quite like the Master one. The sound of the drums and all that. I like them, but something about this one, and again, I think it's what you said about Series 1 as well. It feels unique and different, and just there's something very special about Series 1, and this is a great way for it to end. It definitely goes out on high.
It does. Yeah. And just before we move on, I just want to say that poor old Captain Jack, he gets left behind.
Oh, I know.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
After all the help and everything he's thrown himself in, because he kind of puts his life in the Doctor's hands, doesn't he? You can tell that he's got a lot of love and respect for the Doctor because, he turns around and says, something along the lines of, what does he say about the Doctor? Always will, or always trusted him, always will, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then his little face, he's put his whole life and he's put his life on the line and he's helped the Doctor and everything, and then he wants him, and the TARDIS just buggering off, and he just stood there like, oh no.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He must think, oh great, this is brilliant.
I'll tell you what, I know we shouldn't think about what might have been, but imagine a Series 2 with Jack, Rose and Eccleston as the TARDIS team. Yeah. I think that would have been great, even if they'd have done it for like half a series and then Jack left or whatever. But those three together are great. I mean, there's a lovely feel between the three of them, and they're like when he's saying goodbye, and Rose is like, well, he'll be all right, won't he? You know, and it's a very natural chemistry between those three. Mm-hmm. I'd just love to see more of that TARDIS team. Really, I know he comes back in the Tennant era, but I think he works really well with Chris's Doctor, because Chris is that no nonsense stuff, isn't it? He doesn't really take any nonsense from Jack, but he quite likes the, humour in him and stuff. So I think they work really well together, those three.
And he gets a little kiss at the end as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, they all get a little kiss.
Yeah, it's all very cozy, and I like what you mean. The chemistry is brilliant between the three of them.
I could have seen more of them if they'd have done a second series, but hey.
He doesn't get off too badly, though. He gets his own spin-off for a while, doesn't he? Gets Torchwood after this. And
True. And I have got to ask, and you might be able to clarify this just quickly, I've always assumed, and I don't know if I've got this wrong, but is the fact that Captain Jack can't die because of what happens to him in this?
That's correct.
Is it because that is correct? So it's because Rose saves him that he just can't be killed.
That's right.
So basically, she caused it. Okay, that's going good. See, I've always assumed that's what it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So up to this point, he could have been killed, but then when she brings him back, that's when he just keeps
like going around, right? Yeah. Which is a very nice little tie-in, isn't it? I like that. I like that idea.
Anything? I think we've gone through. Normally we do our breakdown of story and characters. I think we spoke about most stuff. Is there anything you want to mention?
Yeah.
Before we move on, I think.
Oh no, there is actually one thing. There is, and it's the only slight negative that I have. So I should quickly say that. And it's the reveal of the Bad Wolf. What it actually is the only thing I can say that is slightly underwhelming for me, because there's such a big build up to it throughout the whole series that when it's revealed that it's just Rose that scattered it through time and space to bring her back, I've always found that a bit underwhelming, to be honest. It still works. I still like it. But I don't know. I never, because I was expecting something else. In a way, it's quite nice that it's something so subtle, because it's not like a big sort of Stephen Moffat reveal of, oh my goodness me, I never saw that coming. But so in a way, it's quite nice that it's something small. But I don't know. It wasn't quite the payoff that I wanted. Let's put it that way. But it's a very, very minor niggle with the story, to be honest with you. But it's about the only negative I can find.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Rightio, scores for Parting of the Ways. It's you to go first.
Me to go first. So this is a 9.5 out of 10 for me. It would have been a 10. It's just the Bad Wolf thing slightly lets it down for me. But it's a very, very strong 9.5 out of 10. It's one of my favourites, actually.
Yeah.
Really. Since the show came back, it's one of my favourite episodes.
Yeah, it's a snap for me as well, 9.5.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It really is one of the best finales for me.
Yeah.
In modern Doctor Who since 2005. He's just got it all in there. And Chris, well, all the performances really, but primarily Chris is just magic. He's just,
it is. It's a really good send-off for him. Yeah.
So there we go. Our last visit to the Ninth Doctor's era anyways.
Oh,
What did our beautiful listeners think? Let's rattle through these audio clips. We've got another bunch in. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good stuff.
We are going to kick off with Loopy Loo.
The oncoming storm, eye to eye with the Emperor of the Daleks, is a pretty epic start to this great episode. I love how Captain Jack is basically a changed man from meeting the Doctor. He's a better man, a braver man. I think we'd all be changed for the better from meeting the Doctor, don't you? Time Vortex Rose is awesome. What an amazing moment. I don't know what to say about this episode because it's just so perfect. I can't fault it at all. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, yeah, I do agree with you. It is so good.
Straight in with a 10. Let's do Dean Jones.
Hello everybody. So the Parting of the Ways. I'll get my minor nitpicks out of the way, and that's to the Rose. The first point is whenever Linda with a Y interacts with the Doctor in any shape or form, she has this kind of disgusted look on her face. I don't like that. And the second point is when Mickey and Rose and the TARDIS, they're having that conversation and Rose basically says, there's just nothing left here for me at all, which I think is very harsh. Everything else, however, I absolutely love. The Daleks, along with the story Dalek, probably the best they've ever been in the modern series and still hasn't been topped. The script is excellent. The acting is brilliant. I think it's really well paced. It's incredibly well directed. And of course, the man cementing it all together, apart from RTD, of course, is Christopher Eccleston, who, pardon the pun, was absolutely fantastic in this story. And very interesting bit of trivia for me on this one. Because Series 1 was my introduction to Doctor Who, I didn't know anything about regeneration, really. I hadn't seen any of the stories, so going into this one, I didn't actually know that Chris had said that he was leaving, he wasn't going to do any more. So when the regeneration came, it was quite the shock for me. So it's always a memory that stays in my mind. And for my money, this is the best regeneration of the modern series. And this could very well be my favourite regeneration story of all time. But we'll have to wait and see once I've gone through all the other regenerations. So with those minor nitpicks aside, I love this two-parter. I gave Bad Wolf a 9 out of 10 last week. I'm going to give The Parting of the Ways a 10 out of 10 for this week. And the whole two-parter is a 10 out of 10. Until next time, guys, take care and see you next week.
Thank you, Dean.
Wow, that must be a cool memory to have, watching that regeneration fresh without any thing coming up. Yeah, it must be awesome. Yeah. Let's do Owen Daly.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Hope you're both well and enjoying the show this week. So, Parting of the Ways. Bad Wolf is a perfect opener, and Parting of the Ways is just a beautiful ending. This has got to be probably the best New Who regeneration, because it just has such a great impact on me, because it's not built up, it's not overdone like End of Time and Time of the Doctor. They're not bigged up. This one was just another Doctor Who story where things went wrong and the Doctor had to regenerate, and I love that. And I love how the Doctor regenerates. He's not vain, he's not being superior to anyone else, he's just helping a friend, and I love that. And the Nine Doctors goodbye is beautiful. We've got some great bits here with the Doctor saying how he'd be a coward over a killer any day, and that defines the Doctor. And I love the Parting of the Ways, so I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
Another 9.
Nice one, yeah. High scores.
These are rolling in. Let's do Sammy Satine.
G'day, Gary and Adam, Sammy Satine here. So, the parting of the ways, or the beginning of Rose being a cow. She glares at Linda, tells Mickey there's no one for her back on Earth, even though Mickey is there, and her mother who loves her and raised her. Anyway, why hasn't anyone made a figure of the Dalek Emperor? Linda! No! I like Linda with a Y. Why did they have to kill her? Anyway, wonderful to see Jackie and Mickey. Gotta love them. Chris, of course, is brilliant. I think, as much as I love Chris, that it's good he only did one series, because his whole arc as a Doctor completed one series, and it meant you could introduce new people to the concept of regeneration sooner, as well as making the Christmas special a new start. Nice to see David at the end. Love Chris's last words. 9 out of 10. See ya!
Thank you very much, Sammy.
Cheers, Sammy. Now, I don't want to encourage your spending, because I know what you like, Sammy, but Eagle Moss did a lovely figurine of the Emperor Dalek, which you might want to look up online. I haven't got it, but it looks lovely.
So we're spending other people's money now.
It's about 50 quid, I think, but he's very nice.
Thank you, Sammy. Let's move on to George Buddy.
Hello, Gary and Adam. So, The Parting of the Ways, the conclusion to last week's episode, is directed brilliantly by Joe Ahern. And I love Murray's music in it as well. But the thing is, this isn't a negative. I never quite see it as a regeneration story, though, in my head. Because obviously it's not building up for regeneration. But it's quite nice because you have all these modern big building up for building things. It's quite nice to have like a subtle regeneration. How good is Christopher Eccleston, though? He is right on top form. I love the design of the Dalek Emperor, but it doesn't look that great on screen. It does sort of just look like a model's been enlarged and put on screen. Rose feels a bit Series 2 when she's with Linda, if I'm honest. Which is annoying, because I quite like Rose in Series 1. Sending the companion away, like when he sends Rose back home, was done much better in this episode than it was with Clara in Time of the Doctor, despite how much I love Time of the Doctor. The Daleks are pure evil when they go down into Floor Zero and kill everybody when they don't need to, and they're also pretty good in the whole of the episode as well. I heard your sound that you used for the merch corner in here, actually. The regeneration is handled brilliantly as well. So if I was going to give this episode a score, it has to be a 10 out of 10, and my score for the finale is a 9 out of 10. Just before I go, I just want to say that you're fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and you know what? So was I.
Oh.
That is a great line, isn't it? I love it when Chris says that.
It's brilliant, yeah.
Yeah.
2 more to go. This is Jake Birtwhistle.
Hello, Gary and Adam, and the rest of the listeners of this week's Big Blue Box podcast. So, parting of the ways. There was a lot of death, and I mean a lot. Everyone died. Linda died, Jack died, Elaine the Pain died, and most tragically of all, the android died. Very sad. Easily my all-time favourite character in Doctor Who. I love it when the Daleks kill people. It just makes them feel a lot more threatening. I can't remember the last time a Dalek actually properly killed someone. What I'm trying to say is, take notes, Moffat. This is how you write for the Daleks. The ending felt a bit... I don't know, the Doctor kissing Rose just felt a bit forced and it just didn't feel natural. I didn't really like the Doctor kissing Rose. I don't really like it when the Doctor kisses companions. But apart from that, I absolutely love this episode. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. See ya.
9.
9 out of 10. I have to say, actually, that line when Chris says, "Oh, come here, you need a doctor," before he gives her a kiss, it is very cheesy. But you know what? I think Chris just about gets away with it.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about. And our last audio clip is from Lewis Palmer.
Hello, Big Blue Box podcast. The Parting of the Ways. It is genuinely one of my favourite regeneration stories just ever. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a full-on Doctor versus Dalek story, and it's the perfect wrap-up to Series 1. It really is. It says goodbye to all the characters you know. You could easily watch this and not continue on with Series 2 with David Tennant, but you know, it says goodbye to everyone, but at the same time it leads them into this new era with the 10th Doctor, and I just, it's so good, man. It's so good. The Daleks are so threatening, they're just murdering people left, right. God, I wish they'd do that nowadays. It is, God, I love this story to bits. It's fantastic. I love it. I can't say enough good things about it. The regeneration scene itself is how you should do a regeneration scene. He's not crying. He's not, scared. He's wary, but he's telling his companion, "Look, it's going to be okay. I'm going to change. I'm going to be someone else, but it's going to be okay." And it's Eccleston saying goodbye, and I didn't want him to go, so yeah, easy 9.5 out of 10 for me. So yeah. See you next time, guys.
Another 9.
Thanks, Lewis.
This could potentially be the highest scores we've had.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
For a story. That's all our audio clips. Thank you so much, guys, for sending those in. We love listening to those. We changed things up a bit on Twitter this week. Instead of just throwing out the tweet asking you, we did a poll, which is very nice. And the results are thus. We asked you, the Parting of the Ways, what do you lot think? 91% of you said it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And 9% of you said exterminate me now.
What? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so the 9%...
We'll send Dalek Tank out for you.
Dalek Tat, he's going to be furious at that.
That would be pleased. He'd be like, "Oh, I get to exterminate."
So thank you very much for voting on the poll. I think we'll do that because it's moving forward, because it's a nice visual way. Anything over on the Geek's Handbag?
Yeah, and a couple of just quick comments. So Henry Matteson says it's a great episode. He loves Eccleston. Reese Jenkins says, "I love this episode. Sad it was Eccleston's last story, but it introduced me to his favourite Doctor, David Tennant." Yeah, same as you there. And Charlie Turner says, "Why did he have to go so soon?" I know, Charlie. But anyway, The Parting of the Ways is one of, if not the most perfect way to end the most perfect Doctor. He gives it 10 out of 10. And he says, "Farewell, Christopher. You were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? So was I." Yeah, so, yeah, all positives, mate. Nothing apart from that strange 9% wanting to be exterminated. Most of the people will love this one, don't they?
They do. Yep.
Yeah. It's a strong...
So that's going to do for 159. Thank you so much for all your stuffs. Next week, we're going back to Classic Week.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, Davison, isn't it? A Davison story next week.
Yeah, what we got?
Terminus. Yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it?
Yes. So, if memory serves, this is one of the Black Guardian trilogy episodes, if memory serves correct. I haven't seen it in a little while.
No.
Yes,
anyway. Not the one with those funny wooden costumes. Is it? I can't remember Terminus much, yeah.
Yeah, the Vaniers.
Oh.
The Vaniers, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, get your classic DVDs out for next week because we'll be asking you for your reviews on that. So, yeah, let's close out 159.
Okay.
Thank you for sticking with us for 159. It's been awesome talking through the news and merch. Equally as awesome going through Eccleston's last story for our reviews, The Parting of the Ways.
That's it.
Decent scores, 9s and 10s. Love it.
Yeah.
You never get bored of watching that one like you, mate.
No, I don't. I love it. Love it to bits.
Indeedy. Next week, venturing back into the classic years, Mr. Davison. So get your DVDs out, or if you're over in the US or whatever, get your BritBox subscription fired up for Terminus. Terminus will be upon us next week. So yeah, I haven't watched Davison in a while, you know.
No, nor have I actually. No.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know the last time we did a Davison story. It was probably back with. Oh, crikey. I don't think we've done... Anyways, it's been a long time.
It's been a while, isn't it? I can't remember either.
Time Flight back in February.
Oh, that's why we don't remember.
That's why. That's why we don't remember. So, yes, head over to the website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all the previous shows on there, plus you can link off to all the social stuff. And you can also subscribe to us on the podcast networks. If you're an iTunes listener, just do a search for us on there. But we're also on all the other podcast directories. And we're back on Stitcher now as well. They seem to have sorted their website and feed out. So we're back in Stitcher, which is good.
Ooh, that's good.
And if you are an iTunes listener, if you could throw over a review and a rating, that would be awesome. Because that really helps us out a lot.
Yes.
Check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag.
Oh, yeah, have a look at that.
The Geek's Handbag. Check him out on YouTube
That'll
and
be
Facebook.
My new theme. Yeah. Geek's Handbag.
Like the Flintstones theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Adam's channel. Just give him a search and a like and a sub. And all that jazz over on YouTube. Great videos from Adam. You'll not be disappointed.
No, indeed.
No, indeedy. So yeah, we look forward to having your company again next week. So get your microphones ready for your audio clips, your fingers ready for your written reviews, and we'll get them on. So until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember...